What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the film room. Welcome to the film room live. A little tongue tied on this Monday morning. I'm Anthony Goods. I'll be your host. Um, I'm, I'm now an assistant coach from Arkansas State. I've probably held a lot of different jobs in basketball, as some of y'all may know. I've played. I've done some evaluating. I've done a little bit of everything, but now I'm on the coaching side. So wanted to try something different this morning and. Show you guys, kind of what I do somewhat on a daily basis. One thing I always wondered before I got into coaching was like, how do coaches work on their game? And one thing that I think coaches do to improve their game is break down film. I think breaking down film is obviously something we see when coaches and players are preparing games, but I think it's something that I think coaches should be doing, and I like to do on my free time just to see what other coaches are doing, just to learn from other coaches and just improve, your feel and your basketball knowledge. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do that. I go into a platform called Sports Code. I think a lot of coaches around the world use this, especially at the pro level and the college level. So we're going to dive into Sports Code and I'll show you just pretty much what I do and how I end up doing everything. So let me share my screen right now, and we'll get to it. So, all right. So here we are. This is Sports Code. I downloaded the Greece and Turkey game. There's not a lot of basketball going on right now, but EuroBasket is going on. So we'll see Turkey and Germany played in the championship last night. Spoiler alert: Germany won, but it's still worth it to kind of take a peek and see what's going on. So let's tap into this. Actually, let's back this up here for 1 second. Because I think I haven't even gone through this film yet, but I think there's some dope stuff on here. So I want to make sure we get this thing together real quick. 1 second. Ooh. All right, so off the tip. So Dennis Schroeder's obviously been great at the FIBA level. So all right, so he's starting out with the step up screen. This would be like an angle screen. It's set on the edge of the lane line here, and as we'll see, they got the floor spread. I think that might be Ost, or maybe this is Ost here, who's one of the best shooters in Europe. But see what they end up doing. This is what we would call a zoom action. Oh, into a flare. Interesting. Offensive foul there, but I really like this action as an opening play. And this is just a tip. When you watch any basketball game, you always want to watch the first couple plays. Usually coaches try to draw up something nice to get an open look and or just to see what kind of coverage they're going to be playing, pick and roll defense in. So I imagine Germany wanted to run this early pick and roll here just to see, or it was a pick and pop, but just to see how Turkey was going to cover pick and rolls or pick and pops with Şengün guarding Tease at the 5. So sometimes a lot of coaches like to do that at the beginning of the game, but obviously it's always good when you can draw first blood and score. I really like this hard screen on the zoom action here by Bonga. And yeah, so zoom is pretty much when a big or somebody has the ball up top, and then there is a down screen that leads into a dribble handoff. It's a very popular action that a lot of teams are running these days. I think it's great that they hit and got right into a flare, even though this was a moving screen. As we can see, I think this action is great for a shooter because technically Larkin, if this wasn't such a great shooter, Larkin would probably be on the ball side right here. But Obviously, he did not get there. So, yeah, I think this is a great action to run for almost any team. But yeah, if you definitely have a shooter, I think running a zoom, because you have two opportunities to get a shot or get some penetration and create some rim pressure off the zoom, and then off this flare here. If Tease would have set a good screen, got a good piece of him, then this baseline screener down here would have had to help up, and you'd be playing 2-on-1 on his backside. But it's a moving screen, so we move on. Turkey's been playing extremely well. You know, they beat Giannis and them pretty easily, but let's see what kind of action they run off the rip. Looks like they're getting into flex action, which could have low-key been a zoom there. And Shane Larkin, who's also been playing extremely well. Now, they got a great shot out of this, and this was primarily because of their spacing. So let's back this up and see what they got into here. He comes off the so basically they got into a flex. So this would also be kind of considered a zoom, even though the angles were a little different, but they weren't really using it to score. And we'll see Shane Larkin's coming off the baseline. Here we back screen, DHO. Could have used the screen, rejected it, found the angle. Now, the low man has to help. So this is what we would call the seeker. At least we call that in Arkansas State. So typically, you'd like your seeker a little more outside of the paint, so he has a quicker run to, you know, either the slot or the corner. And then you would have your low man X out to, you know, whoever's left. Franz Wagner's a little too deep in the paint. And this is going to be a long run for him. He gets out, quick pass, ball moves fast, and Bonga peeled off and got a great contest, but they were able to knock this shot down. So that was, if anything, I felt like the spacing really set that play up with a great feed from Shane Larkin. Wagner doing what he does, trying to get to the basket. Let's see here. So now they're just basically just playing off of flow. This is like a delayed break. Just seeing whatever you can get. I don't really chop these type of possessions up. You know, usually what I'm looking for when I'm editing tape or any actions or anything that I could use to teach, you know, some of the players on our team. So if you look at my columns down here below in the white, you know, I have offense or defense, the play, the action, teaching point 1, teaching point 2, player involved, and then a description so I know exactly what happened. But yeah, those are typically things that I'm looking for. Just, you know, teaching points, great actions, great effort on defense, whatever it may be, or maybe an ATO or a play that I liked or that, you know, sparked some creativity for me. Those are usually the things I kind of go through these films and look for. And also it's just a better way to watch basketball. A lot of times we see a lot. If I'm just watching this game live on TV, I'll see a lot of stuff that I like, but it's a lot harder to actually save it. In this way, I actually save it on my computer, and I'm able to reuse it, you know, in whatever way that, you know, I see fit. That's a great kick from the post. You know, I'm not a fan necessarily of running a whole lot of post-ups, but when you have a creator like Shane Goon who can kick it out, you know, it's definitely useful when you have such a great passer like that. So let's look at this action. One thing I always like to do too is just kind of see, you know, who's open at what time when you just pause the video. And, you know, just see kind of why the player didn't make the pass. Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable. You know, it would have been tough for him to kind of zip this pass over Shane Goon's head, you know, with Shane Goon's size over Schroeder. So he played it cool, and then they get into a side pick and roll. Obviously, you're going to have to tag with this baseline guy. They get a tag, he ends up slipping, you get an open shot. Missed it, but it's not a bad shot for that possession. And let's see what else we get into here. Again, flowing down the court, open shot. Turkey's been playing extremely well in this tournament, man. I heard Germany kind of came back at the end, so it'll be interesting to see how they did that. This is a tough 4-5 pick and roll. Or I guess a 3-5 pick and roll. Man, he snuffed out that. Now defensively, this is exactly what you want to do. Is you got to think about defensively. You want to take away, obviously, anything that any strengths that the offense has. And I think in any pick and roll situation, a lot of offenses are teaching their ball handlers to get it to the short roll. So we see some heavy help here on the nail from, I'm not sure who that is up top, but we see some heavy help here on the nail contesting this short roll pass, and he actually gets the steal here. It's a much longer pass for him to throw it to Schroeder. Schroeder is obviously the pass that he should have made, but that's another reason you want to have elite ball pressure on these ball handlers. And, Şengün being up there to impact the ball really helps as well. So I think this is a great defensive possession if we run it back. I think it's a great defensive possession by Cedi Osman and Şengün getting over there, and then my man at the nail able to get the steal. But that was a really good defensive possession. Sideline OBs, eyes always light up when I see a sideline OB, just to see what they're trying to get out of it. And especially like early in the game, you want to watch these type of plays and try to remember if you can, because later they might make an adjustment and you might see something different. So let's see what they get out of this one, if anything. Yeah, it looks like he slipped, not getting much, but we got an ISO. Going back the other way. That's a tough shot. Let's see this. I mean, they're just playing right now, just putting guys in the blender. Now, where this play messed up is, I'm not mad at this post man helping, but this should be the low man's help. I don't think he should be helping from the slot. And then again, it's very tough in the middle of the floor. I mean, there's essentially no weak side, but I think in the perfect world, you probably want the low man helping on this. And then the guy that actually helped from the slot, he would probably, stay a little bit more outside and get out to the first pass. But again, you have to make that threat assessment. Like, is the guy driving, more of a threat than leaving the 3-point line? I think they just kind of collapsed on the ball. Great pump fake, great shot. It's a tough make. Sometimes you just got to live with it. Through a couple more possessions before I head into work. See what we got here. Oh, wide open. It's a tough one. Okay, we got transition. Somebody got to declare the ball. Let it get deep and make a play at the rim. Same thing on this end. We get another block. So they're getting up and down now. One thing I've noticed, when you have a lot of NBA players playing in this type of setting, in the FIBA setting, the pace usually picks up because of the pace that they're used to playing at the NBA level. They really start to get up and down. Sorry, Synergy keeps showing these clips over and over, but now you guys feel our pain. Empty side pick and roll. Put him in jail. Little Gortat screen. All right, now this is there's a lot in this here. So we got an empty side pick and roll. Now let's think about where our help is going to be coming from. Typically the low man here, or some teams help from this nail guy up top, depending on where the screen and roll is coming from. I think where Schroeder could have done better is he could have took it down, like free throw line extended. That's typically where you want to set this screen. You want to set it about right here at this level. That's usually the best spot to set that screen, because then it's a harder help for the nail guy, and it's also a longer run for this low man if you want to kick it over to the corner. Okay, we're having some issues here. But if he runs it a little lower, I think he can turn this corner and get into the paint a lot more easily. But he keeps it tight. Again, this is one of the best shooters. Again, this here, let me show you this guy here. One of the best shooters in Europe. You don't want to leave him. So Shane is not going to be able to help on this penetration. And Schroeder, let's see how he, oh my gosh, my computer's messing up. But he ends up putting his man on jail. So then Tease is going to set a Gortat screen because he sees that Schroeder is about to snake. And this is where team chemistry makes the dream work. Schroeder comes off, puts him in jail. Tease realizes that, Schroeder's going to snake, sets a great screen, and then we have what we call cut the low. So anytime your low man helps and you're the corner man, especially if you're not the greatest shooter in the world, we always teach to cut the low because, the slot and wing defenders are either going to have to help down, which will open up the three, or they're not going to help at all. And you're going to have a layup just like Bonga got on this play here. So this is a play that typically I would cut up and I would write, I would do my own tagging and save for my own records, empty side pick and roll, Gortat screen, and cut the low. So this would kind of be the action that I would type out, fill the rest of this out, and so on and so forth. But let me get back. So that's about it for today, man. I gotta go run into the office, man. I hope this was somewhat helpful. We're trying to do this somewhat consistently. If you'd like to, please leave a message. Let me know your thoughts, and hopefully I'll be able to do this a little more. But I appreciate y'all. Happy Monday to everybody. And, tap into some Arkansas State games this year. I think we're going to be doing some big things, man. And, go like and subscribe. Watch my other content, man. Tell a friend and tell a friend. All right, man. I'll see y'all later.